What is going on? It's Denisha here. I don't know what happened to my last video that I had about my ectopic pregnancy experience. I had posted that and then I honestly don't know what happened. And then somehow the videos in my phone are deleted. I think after I posted the video, I went ahead and cleared that out of my phone, but then I found them and I can't figure out how to move them back so I can repost the video. So that's very frustrating. But today is July 7th. I'll do a recap. So I was around 7 weeks pregnant. June 3rd, I ended up going to a place called Sneak a Peek because I was having rectal pain, severe rectal pain during my pregnancy, pretty much like a couple of days after taking the pregnancy test. I was struggling the past couple of weeks, got really ill while I was at work. I almost passed out. I was about to vomit. I was shaking really bad. But I pushed through. I called the doctors and they just kept telling me, oh, you know, it doesn't seem like something that needs to be emergent. But if it does get really bad again, go to the emergency room. I went to urgent cares. Um, so eventually I went ahead and scheduled an appointment to go to the Sneak a Peek. That's where I found out that I had an ectopic pregnancy. Come to find out, the pregnancy was in my rectum. I guess they call it the cul-de-sac. Never heard of that before. So that's why my rectum was hurting so bad, because the baby was sitting right there on top of my rectum. So anytime I would walk about bowel movements and everything like that, it would just put pressure right there. Um, and it was really bad. Immediately after having the surgery, the pain went away, obviously. So that night, I think I went maybe around 8 o'clock that evening. They pulled me in for surgery after getting tests and another ultrasounds and stuff like that to confirm everything. I had surgery. I stayed overnight, left the 4th, like later on that afternoon, maybe around 3 or something like that. Um, I was having really bad pain in my stomach, and I thought my stomach was dying because where he did the surgery at was rock hard and black. Um, and that was very terrifying. So, of course, I had to go back to the doctor for that. Had a blood clot there. Had to get on antibiotics and everything like that to clear that out. I couldn't walk or stand up straight comfortably for at least a week or so. But once I got on the antibiotic, I slowly started feeling much better. Took me a while to be okay mentally. I would say now, I'll still find myself crying if I see or watch people holding their babies online, or if I hear a baby crying and stuff like that, I'll kind of start getting upset. Sometimes I will cry, but I think it's just a whole bunch of other emotions that were piled up that are being released as well. Um, but yeah, I don't even know what to say. I'm still in shock for the most part that actually happened to me, but I know the Lord had something planned, was protecting me from something. Unfortunately, I had to go through something traumatic like that. But I'm grateful that the baby had already passed. I don't even know if the baby was alive at some point. Because if the baby was alive and I had to make that decision to terminate, that would have been just awful. But yeah, I'm so grateful for all the support that I had from friends, my sisters in Christ. Absolutely love them so much. Very supportive. I'm so grateful. I wouldn't have been able to do any of that, go through anything without them. And I just feel awful because the last day of school, so I work at a school, I had told a few people that I was pregnant, and then my son went around spreading the word that I was pregnant. So I ended up just having to tell everybody, yes, I am pregnant. And then now some of the children that are there are going to be like, are you, how's the baby? And I'm like, so I'm just preparing myself for that. But I think I'll be okay. I honestly think I'll be okay. But now my goal is to get back to myself, or get a little bit better than what I was, and take care of my overall health. Because I did start letting myself go. I lost myself. I started gaining a lot of anger. I still hold a lot of anger, and I'm trying to work through that. I did go for a run this morning, just for about 20 minutes or so. And my head, I was telling my daughter, my mind literally opened. Like, I feel like that sadness. Like, I didn't want to get out the bed. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to read. I didn't want to crochet. I didn't want to do any other things I actually enjoyed. But once I got back from that run, like, a part of my mind had opened, and I feel different. Like, I feel better. So I'm hoping that I can stay on track. Consistency is an awful thing for me. But I'm gonna try my best. I definitely am gonna try my best. Maybe I'll put my stats here for getting back into running on one of these sides. I did a handful of 5Ks, so I plan on doing that again. So I want to try to share my journey of getting back to myself. I don't want to call it locking in. I don't want to do any of the 75 hard challenges. Like, I'm just an ordinary woman, mom, just trying to get through, trying to get by, because there's a lot of other factors in my life that I probably won't talk about at this point that I'm trying to work through as well. So I don't want to put too much pressure on myself, but I also don't want to feel yucky anymore, and I don't want to be sad about a lot of things anymore. Just really want to move forward and move on and be better. Like I think I said before, and one of it is, I don't know, that I'm 34 years old, and my oldest is 15, and I have an 11-year-old. So I only got, a couple of years to still have I still call them my babies, so I feel like it's time for me to try to develop myself and figure out who I am again. I definitely still have that urge to have more children. However, with the chances of me having another ectopic pregnancy going up, I think I'll decline and try to accept that that's not going to be an option for me anymore, and just embrace the two that I have and make the most of that. Yeah, the goal for now is to hopefully take you guys on my journey of trying to get back to being me, being a better version of myself, getting my mental correct, and just moving on, because this summer has been the worst summer of my life, and I'm not even joking about that. Like, it has been absolutely awful, and not just because of the pregnancy loss. It's been a whole bunch of other things, and it has yet to get better at this point. But again, I know through prayer and faithfulness that things will work out the way that they're supposed to. Maybe not the way that I want them to, or the way that I plan on them to, but they will work out. So for the month of July, I have written out a workout plan. I have a board here. My daughter drew that for me. All those things she colored, drew the piglet and drew that for me. But there on the board I have my workout split, and the exercise I'm going to be doing. Um, with exercises, it's hard for me to be consistent. I get bored very easily when it comes to working out, but that's something that I really want to push through. So today is Tuesday. I did my run. Tomorrow's Wednesday. It's a rest day, or I can do cardio. I do work tomorrow. I do home health. So we'll see what I decide to do. I have the option. I feel okay enough to do harder cardio. I don't know what that looks like, but I try to make sure that these things that I can carry over once I go back to working full time for the school. So I think I'll be working like 8:15 to 4:30 or something like that, or 8:30 to 4:15, whatever. So I want to make sure that I can still implement that. Plus, with my kids' extracurriculars after school and all that stuff, if I gotta, whatever. So I hope to take you guys along in that journey. I'm also trying to change up my eating habits, putting more whole food dishes. Majority of the time doesn't always work out that way. But again, I'm just a regular schmegler. I'm not aesthetic at all. Like whatever you guys see online is not what I got going on. Yes, so that's the plan. Let's hold me accountable, please, because I need that partnership. I need that friendship. I need it all. I think that was it. If any of you guys have experienced the similar type of ectopic pregnancy that I experienced, please leave that down in the comments. I would really appreciate reading what you guys been through, and just to know that I'm not the only person that has experienced that before. I've heard of multiple different types of ectopic pregnancies, but I have not specifically heard of the one that it lands in your cul-de-sac. There was another word for it when I looked it up, but I can't remember. It was like a name of a person or something like that. But I would love to read that and have a conversation about that and see where everybody else is at with that experience. Again, I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.